music doesn't play if I'm not on the game, so that's why the music's like back and forth. Okay, so Childhood's End. Okay, how are you doing this morning, Dusty? I've done my self-promotion for the day, so I'm ready to start. I might play later, so I'll have to do more self-promotion, but I also have to take school seriously sometimes, so I'm going to do that. But I want to do more South Park. But today is something very special. Today, loads of talking. Oh, I have a nice coffee. I have water. I can get more stuff. Hey, Caro, how's it going? This is Adolescence. This is just chapter 2. So if you still want to play the game and you don't want to ruin anything, I'm only going to probably do Adolescence today, just because it takes a lot of talking, and I just feel like the only way to do this game right, like stream it right, is to sort of like kind of try to talk like you care about it. But I'm not a professional theater actor, so my voice always gives out because I'm an old man. Did you? What'd you think? Yes, it does. Yes, I realized that like it takes me a long time to get through it, simply because I decided to play it in this fashion. I'm just trying to put on my condenser right now, and I'm a buffoon because I should have done this before, but god damn it. Okay, that's probably good enough. Fair enough. Would you thumbs up or thumbs down the game in general? I guess if you say thumbs down, that would be bad, but okay, good. Okay, good. I feel like I really like this game, but there are parts I don't want to elaborate what I don't like about it quite yet, because I might just not. Well, we'll see. Okay. The mark left on you by the sacrament takes a long, long time to heal. Mother says it's a reminder of your lot, suffering and sufferance, pain and patience. Laura shows the mark of the lash on her shoulder one day. It will never disappear. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous that you whatever. I'm a commoner, that's a lot I was born into, but Father keeps telling you to study hard. You might earn a different lot and become noble of the mantle. I don't want to be a noble of the mantle. I want to be a revolutionary. I'm going to change the system. You recall the past with warm sadness. When Stephen still lived with you, or when he wrote to you for a time shortly after he left, now he thinks it beneath him to write to commoners and his family. Mother didn't lock herself in the bedroom as often back then. This changed shortly before Nathan was born. But most importantly, you missed the time before the terrifying figure of your grandfather was constantly looming over you. Yeah, he kind of sucks. In grandfather's eyes, no commoner deserves to be treated with kindness. Interesting. Is this just him, or is this the way of the entire world? The very thought makes you queasy. You're older now, and now, what's more, you are an elder brother now. You learn how to care about someone else, how to teach and protect. Soon, you are a small boy no longer. As the days pass, play gradually gives way to laborious study. Now your choices will decide your place in this bizarre and ruthless world of adulthood. Your childhood years are over now. So I got fencing lesson, and I died. So I think this is going to be good. I have a lot of determination and pretty good perception. I'd like more perception, but that's fine. I have some willpower. I died once. Okay, great. From what I recall, I have a difficult relationship with my family. I mean, my grandfather killed me, so...
I was growing up fast. The school, the streets, and the whole wide world awaited me beyond the gate of my parents' house.
That's it? I need a longer break, man. Okay, so now we have more choices here. More things to look at. Okay, so that's just this. Okay, so yeah, okay, what the fuck? Oh, okay, I have to click. Okay. Chapter 2: Adolescence. You lived in this world for 8 years now. As you grow older, life becomes more complex. The world of your childhood was limited to your house and family, but now the realm is expanding. It also includes your neighborhood, the nearby houses, the streets of the ancient city of Anazati. A question now looms over you, growing more pressing with each passing year. What will your place in this vast outside world be? Few people in the blessed Archnean Empire trouble themselves with this question. It's not within a man or woman's power to choose. Their destiny is predetermined by their birth and those who bore them. And yet, your particular birth has granted you a choice. Your father is a man of nobility, a worthy example in matters of duty and honor. Your mother is a commoner of lowly estate, humility and patience made flesh. That's a nice way of putting it. And your sky is ablaze today and night with the light of the shiny pillar. That's a weird... Oh, yeah, the shining pillar is really strange. The beacon of the clergy. Your back bears the mark of the lash. Will you accept the drudgery and suffering that is the lot of the lowborn for your entire life? Or will you follow in the footsteps of your father and your father's father and fight for the right to serve the empire as a noble of the mantle? Perhaps you will follow the twin god's word and offer spiritual guidance to others. The answer lies out there in that vast, terrifying world. What awaits you beyond the walls of your home? Interesting. Now can I look at this? Okay, so destiny. Yeah, so I got fencing. I didn't get insight. I think I know where to get the insight, though. Should have done it, but I didn't. Well, I guess my sister joined a secret society. Fuck. And well, that's kind of lame. I'm not gonna look at these anymore. They're just gonna ruin stuff for me. We have moderate means. Tarnished honor. I forget what I did to tarnish the honor. Oh yeah, we have some disagreements. That's right. And Steven is okay. Brante. That's me. Wow, my brother looks really unhappy. Relations. I have no relations yet. Okay. Map of the Empire. So this is the city that we're going to. Okay, I guess this matters, sort of. The province. Interesting. Patriarch, overseer in power. Church. Interesting. Okay, so let's get right into it then. I guess we'll just move forward. Personal life. No, I don't want to read any of that because I don't want to know what any of that is. Your personal qualities at this age, they determine which choices you may take. Nobility. I'm pretty slow. Okay, well, I'm 7 years old. Give me a break. Be mean to Grandpa? You got it. That's actually a good point. Yeah, all happy families are like one another. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. It's interesting. Stephen was the asshole, right? Next to Grandpa, I mean? Yeah, Stephen was your older brother who was kind of a dick. But to be fair, I kind of... See, like, I don't necessarily hate Stephen. Like, he's been told by, like, his elders his entire life that he's, like, better than me. So... he's a kid, like, of course he would be, and he's kind of been poisoned by, I'm not, like, giving him a break, too much of a break, I'm just saying, like, he's a kid, let's see how he plays out in this story. I'm definitely happy to be mean to Grandpa, he's pretty much set in his ways, but, your world grows, the neighborhood, yeah, okay, sorry I saw this. Okay, next one over. My willpower is pretty good. Okay, great. I wonder how the fact that I died is... Well, it's fine. Let's see. Continue. I think this game is fantastic. It's just really like it's really exciting. There's a few things like basically the only thing I don't like is that I have to read the entire thing, but I don't actually have to do that. I'm just choosing to do it. The boy down the street. The family expects more and more of you as you grow up. The teachers and tutors hired by your father keep you on your toes all the time. Your life these days is dedicated to studying for your future, for the future of the Brante family. Your younger brother Nathan keeps growing up too. He can hold a conversation now. You never refuse him when he comes to play, provided you have a bit of free time between your demanding lessons. So sometimes I do. It's a rainy day today. Father and mother have gone to a ball, and they left Nathan in your care. You lose track of time over the books in the sitting room, and Nathan goes off alone to splash in the creek. Soon you hear his voice begging you to come outside. He's on the porch sobbing, all covered in dirt. You walk up to him as he continues to bawl. It's all that kid. He pushed me into the ditch and called me names. He said I was a fancy pants fool. Oh my god, a fancy pants fool. I said I'd call my brother. He's still there. You have to go punish him, Brante. Nathan points at a lopsided wooden house further down the street where the poorer artisans live. You see two boys lingering on the porch. They are clearly both commoners, but far from poor. One of them is almost as tall as Nathan, and he frowns in a funny way, just like him. Okay. The other looks older, almost your age, but he's a more broad-shouldered and taller. His name is Thomas. You've heard it before. There, Brante. That's him. Points at the younger boy and hides behind your back. Thomas grins and rolls up his sleeves to reveal strong forearms. He must have been helping his father with manual labor for quite some time. Listen up, rich boys. We don't give a damn about you and your friendship. We don't let nobody call our home a stinking rat hole. Your little brother earned his ditch dive. Maybe next time he'll dress normal and stop picking fights with people who can throw him in the mud. Interesting. Oh, so I got some choices here. Your hands clench into fists before you react. Nathan called them names first. No wonder they did the same. That's how it goes. But pushing your brother into a ditch is too much. Thomas stands tall and confident. He sees no threat in you. You are about to get ready for a fight when you feel a tug on your sleeve. You turn your head to see Nathan, the one who started the whole mess. This is an interesting one. A slow child Brante. Yeah, never learned anything. I don't know. See, Brante has always been very, like, brash, but this guy's, like, not his grandfather, right? He's just some, like, young kid. And to be fair, Nathan did start it. So, I could blame my brother, resolve the matter peacefully, listen to my brother first. What do I get to my... Oh, why can I do this? It's unlocked somehow, I just don't know why. So I want to resolve the matter peacefully, but I also want to listen to my brother first. But I'm afraid if I do that, that might give Thomas an opportunity to like get the first strike or something. Okay, I'm gonna listen to my brother first. Nathan keeps tugging in your sleeve harder and harder. Finally, you turn and look at him. Don't fight him, please. Look, he's huge. Let's go home. Who cares about them? You're all sweaty. Are you going to listen to your little brother and walk away like a coward? All you rich boys are chickens. You do nothing but squawk, but when the push comes to shove, you run home to mommy. Now he's done it. Your patience has run out. You swing a Aw, damn it! And he jumps back, surprised by your assault. It takes him a moment to compose himself, but now he's ready. His fist covers his face and he attacks you with a quick jab. Now it's your turn to take a step backward. You start trading blows, huffing and puffing with rage. The younger brothers gawk in awe at the sight. Thomas does not resort to fancy moves, dirty tricks, or stupid taunts. He displays nothing but skill earned in many a street fight, and his heavy fist aimed for your head. You keep dodging him again and again, trying to reach him. He takes a couple glancing blows, but easily shakes them off. What a bruiser. You start swinging your fist with greater and greater fury. Your heart is pounding like a hammer. You see nothing but the foe in front of you. How much longer will this take? You're worn out. Your breath grows ragged and your muscles grow heavy. But there's no way you can give up now. Nathan is watching you. Desperate and out of options, you swing and punch Thomas square in the nose, and then immediately let his fist smack you in the temple. The blow rings through your head like a bell and blinds you for a moment. The world swims... Oh my god, am I going to die again? Swims before your eyes. You clutch at your head to get your bearings. Thomas is standing in front of you, blood dripping from your nose. You no longer want to fight it out, and it seems your opponent would rather end it too. But you keep standing there eyeing each other angrily. Then suddenly you hear an angry shout right next to you. An enraged man in a craftsman's apron is shaking his fist. Thomas's face contorts in terror right away. It's my father! Run! The punishment for fighting is flogging, and the mere prospect of what makes you run like the wind. Thomas sprints in front of you. You dash across the rotten wooden planks of the back alley, up and over a lopsided fence, across a giant puddle in one leap, and then forward into the tall grass. You hide there and stay quiet. You hear no sounds of pursuit. You exchange glances with Thomas and start laughing. His laughter is loud and infectious, but soon he cuts it short and grows sadder. I'm gonna get flogged anyways. My dad's always quick to give me a beating, and then he'll start nagging me about the lots and the prayers for days like he always does. Why do I always get myself mixed up in this stuff? But fighting's the only way to prove you're worth anything, right? The adults didn't see you fighting, you tell them. So all you have to do now is convince them you weren't. Nosebleeds happen, right? Mother gets nosebleeds all the time. Well, we could try it. Let's hope your little brothers don't tell on us. I'll talk to mine. There's a scratch on your head. Don't let them see it. Good thing I didn't hit you in the face. There, good all's new. You assure him that Nathan will never tell, and in return, you make sure he behaves himself so he won't get tossed into the ditch again. With that, you shake hands with Thomas. Oh, we kind of resolved this. Yeah. Yeah, this dad is the worst. I did make a new friend. I'm really pleased. His handshake is as strong as you'd expect based on his fists. You make your way out of the tall grass. You need to leave before Thomas's father goes to your family and complains about you breaking your lot. Interesting. You have no idea the place you were hiding even existed, and it wasn't too far from home. Thomas smiles in excitement when he hears this. Oh, I know a lot of places like that. I'll tell you what. If we get out of this mess, I'll show you the way to the old fortress wall. It's a perfect place to build your own fort. I dragged a bunch of wooden planks there. Too bad it's no fun to build all alone. My brother never helps. He just gets in the way. Okay, so I guess I have a friend now. You emerge from the muddy back alleys, united by a secret only the two of you know. It seems you made a friend today. Oh. Unity up. Because I listen to my little brother, he likes me. Willpower? Oh. Turns out that worked out really well. I'm actually really pleased. Cats are good at knocking down forts. Yeah, cats are good at screwing everything up. And then looking really cute afterwards, so it's like, let it go. Alright. It is blistering hot today, even for the sun-parched land of Magra. Okay, so Magra. We're in Magra. Where's Magra? Monia, Northern Provinces, Arcania... Magra. Okay, so we're down here somewhere. In one of these... We're here somewhere. I think maybe we're here? Okay. Return back to scene. As soon as you were done with your studies, you dash outdoors and out of that stuffy room. You and Thomas roll up your shirt sleeves, but it barely helps. You would gladly go shirtless had you only been in the company of other boys. But there are 3 girls in the yard today. They are doing the laundry in a big wash tub, whispering and giggling. If you could, you would gladly keep watching one of them at work. Oh, wow. She has big eyes of deep blue. Oh, blue eyes. That's a killer. Her dark hair is braided, and her play gray dress is mended and patched all over. Her name is Sophia. She throws her head back a little when she laughs. The rays of sun are reflected in her eyes. You, Thomas, and the other boys keep telling silly stories. Anything to make her laugh. You sure love telling tall tales, Brante. Oh, I remember this one time. And then Sophia hears a voice calling her home. She nods to you and runs across the street smiling. I think she likes me. Her light steps carry her forward, but her eyes are looking elsewhere. Then a stone on the road catches her foot. She stumbles and falls flat into the dust. Oh my god! Jesus Christ! This took a... the street starts shaking with the thundering of hooves. Riders appear on the road from around the corner. They bear a coat of arms you recognize right away. A sable serpent blade upon a field of verbal. It visualizes the Melanidus dynasty, the family of your province's archduke. The horses dash forward. A lost wooden toy on the road cracks under their hooves. They will not slow down. They are nobles, and the rest must make way for them. Sophia is in their way. Shield. Yeah, of course. I don't even read it. I'm just boom right for there. You throw yourself blindly into the road, swinging your arms wildly, dazed by the sound of the thundering hooves. You can see nothing in the dust. For a brief moment, the horses slow down, just long enough for Sophia to get back on her feet and flee to the roadside. And then the riders dig their spurs in. Dozens of hooves knock you off your feet, and you roll across your body. Your bones crack, break, and crumble. Your ears are ripped apart by the thundering. Your innards are pulverized. The last thing you remember is the sound of your own skull caving in. I died again. God damn it. Dusty Sophia, yeah. I died a second time. Jesus Christ. How many deaths do I have? Am I like the doctor and I just get like 14? Anyways, it doesn't matter. Impenetrable darkness surrounds you. You stand alone. Yeah, I died again. You hit the worth. It's blinding. I think this is the same thing. It's the shining pillar itself. In this radius, you clearly see your thoughts, transgressions, and contradictions permeated you since birth. Yeah, I'm naked again. Scales have fallen. The grand design. Yeah. You see the infinite complexity of the world, from the tiniest leaf to the enormity of the empire, and this world maintains its balance by virtue. Okay, maybe you are a cat. Yeah, maybe I'm a cat. The younger gazes at you sternly, coldly. You kneel obediently before him and lower your head. Okay. The god raises his sword above you. This is divine retribution. There is no law without it, nor can there be. Every action has consequence. This is what shapes the world, making this very existence possible. In this moment, beneath the gaze of the merciless gods, you comprehend the law that binds the entire world. Which manifestation of the law and will you live by? Your life's work shapes the world, and thus you influence the great law itself. The blade flashes. Yeah. You do not yet deserve your final punishment. Demands that you continue your life. Your form has not been completely destroyed, nor has that of the world. The younger extends his gigantic hand and shows you the way. You must proceed. It's time to descend. Yeah, and then I go back to life. Let's rock and roll. Then you can feel again. Oh, hello, darkness, my old friend. You sense your body, head, and arms and legs. The light fades around you, obedient before a will that is stronger than you. You return to the world. Such is the law of the twins. You will return to the world until the time of your true death. In this world, you will have a body with which to feel pain and suffering and pleasure. Okay, great. Figures of mother and father in the gloom of the speaking to each other quietly. They stop as soon as they hear you gasp. Mother runs to you and locks you in an embrace as father wraps you in his cloak. Neither of them say a word as they lead you out to the surface and back home. You met a terrible end, my son. You were trampled by those horses. Don't be so careless ever again. The lives you were granted by the twin gods are not to be wasted so recklessly. You would be punished for this, but the twins have already meted out their punishment. You tremble, your steps unsteady as you learn how to move again. Your body is eerily smooth, fresh, and renewed. Even the recent scars and scratches are all gone. But there is something new on it, a fresh black mark, a reminder of your lesser death beneath those hooves. It felt like a pretty good... Didn't feel like a lesser death. By the twins' mercy, we are all given enough time in this world. Should you die before your time, you will be brought back by their grace. For 3 times they will rescue you from a terrible fate, but a 4th death is true and final for all. Okay, great. Every loss of a life we are granted at our birth is a heavy blow to us, but the god told us not to mourn a lesser death, and so we will humbly accept this and move on. See, your body has been reborn anew, with all your wounds healed. Do not ever play by the road again if you wish to keep on living. You cautiously go back outside the next day. Children from the neighborhood surround you. They all saw you got trampled, and now they ask you the same question. What was it like to die? Oh, it's not my first time. Thomas rescues you from the pestering. He pushes the motley crew aside, hugs you, and pats you on the back. Aw, Thomas. Look at you, buddy. You gave an entire life to keep a girl safe. Yeah, what can I say? What can I say? I'll do anything for it. Then you see Sophia. She is standing nearby, shyly working up the courage to walk over to you. Soon she finally approaches you and begins speaking rapidly. Brante, why did you throw yourself in front of those horses? My life isn't worth any more than yours, so why did you think that? You weren't supposed to die there. It was all those riders' fault. They deserve to die, not you. Ooh, +1 relation. She's still indifferent? Are you kidding me? She's just indifferent? All that... Oh my god. Sophia sucks. Her voice rises to a shriek. She suddenly stops and runs back home. You stay where you were, watching her run, the golden rays of the sun dancing her braided hair. Okay, yeah. So, Bronte's certainly got a crush. I got +1 ingenuity. I got -5 willpower. +1 spirituality. Okay. Interesting. Sophia saved. Okay, 10 years old. Man, I'm 7 years old. I've died twice. Jesus Christ. The mentality of this person would be like completely different from a normal 10-year-old. Sophia disappeared after the terrible incident with the horses. Your friends gossip that her parents sent her off to serve a rich, noble dynasty. You haven't seen her ever since that day, but you still remember Sophia's eyes, the sunlight shining in them, and no matter what, life goes on. Damn it. You were 10 years old now. Your studies continue, and you are learning more about the land you live in. Anizo is an ancient city in an imperial province by the name of Magra. All soil in Magra has turned to ash eons ago, scorched by magic during the rebellion of Duke Char Milakunis. The Char Milakunis. There we go. The magical arts are all but gone now, but the scorched earth has remained barren and infertile ever since. Since then, the entire province has lain barren, tormented by cold and scorching winds in equal measure, with few precious plants taking root on their land. Okay, great. How do we make food then? Is bought elsewhere and brought here by an endless caravan of carts and carriages. Really? Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So they have to, like, basically terraform... Okay, that's cool. Last fall, there was an explosion just outside the city, followed by clouds of thick smoke. The first such incident frightened the citizens, but then explosions and smoke became an everyday occurrence. Soon, everyone grew used to it. Father explains that the miners are using a new invention called gunpowder. Interesting. It makes it easier for them to reach the precious stones and metals buried deep within the earth. Sounds like witchcraft to me. Then one day, a thunderous explosion rocks the city, and black billowing smoke covers the houses. People are stuck in their homes, all windows tightly shut. The air is impossible to breathe. Nathan coughs all the time. Gloria and you cough only when nobody is watching. If Mother hears it, she'll make you inhale. Okay, that's weird. It takes 2 days for the black smoke to disperse. People pour out onto the street to meet their friends. They took lots of burnt up people to the city temple. Mom told me she was helping the healers. Okay, Thomas, that's a really fucked up story to kind of just casually throw at me, but okay. There are many rumors. Some claim it was the work of a beast stirred from slumber, while others say it's the surviving witches that continue to threaten the Order and the Empire with their accursed powers. Damn witches. But as for you, you patiently wait for Father to come back home, and then you'll ask him about it. Father spends day and night working at the prefecture, while Mother spends all her time in prayer. Mother seems to really have lost it. But to be fair, I guess she's been through a lot. Yeah, I suppose that, yeah, dying seems to be really good for your stats, but I suppose it's nice that she didn't immediately just be like, I love you, but it seems a little silly that she's just indifferent to me. I think she'd have a fondness for me. I mean, maybe they just don't care that much about life, so even saving life isn't really that big a deal. So maybe I'm weird for saving the woman. Like, people are like, wow, why did you do that, man? Like, she's just gonna die and come back to life. That's how it goes. Saving yourself. Anyways, doesn't matter. It takes a full week for Father to finally come home, and he's almost completely spent. You muster enough courage during dinner to ask him what happened outside the city. Father raises his head, his face a bleak, weary mask, and starts muttering his proclamation. It's almost as if he doesn't see you. It's the mine outside the city. They were trying to get to a vein of ore. There was an explosion, the mine caved in, the black smoke started flowing, many workers died there. It was all because Count El Velasco, who owns the mines, wanted them to start mining the vein before they were ready. Some of the workers weren't even reborn. Perhaps the twins thought their final time had come. The prefecture has been inundated with complaints from families who have lost their breadwinners, asking the judges for help. Many people also lost their cattle to the black smoke. Count Elap just blames gunpowder for the disaster. The prefecture and the newspaper just repeat whatever he says. But it's plain old greed and tyranny of noblemen who are to blame. Why is the welfare of our province always paid for with commoner lives? Yeah, seems like my dad is upset with the status quo. And then, without warning, he grows silent again. You keep thinking about it for days. Can a human life really end so easily? A single moment of bad luck and you die, only to re-emerge from the temple or the family crypt with a new black mark on your arm? Or worse, you remain where you fell, dead, never to be reborn again, ever. Wow, okay. There wasn't really any choice there, it just kind of happened, which I guess that's how it goes. Okay, during lunch, Father tells you to stay at home in the evening and prepare to meet some important guests. Your elder brother Stephen will return home by dinner tonight. Joining him will be your grandfather Gregor Brante, as well as a noble friend of the family. You are excited about your brother's return. It has been years since you last saw him. How has he changed since his years away from home? He's probably a real piece of shit. You and Father await the guests anxiously. Doorbell rings, 3 people are standing outside. Grandfather is the first to come in, naturally. He's not changed a bit since his last visit, still eyeing the house with contempt, looking for any reason to demean it. Great. Can't wait. Dressed in a jacket embroidered in silver, whom you barely recognize as your brother. And smirks. Oh, you can suck it. How about that? The last end of the house is a personable gentleman with a worn-out, freckled face. You have heard a lot about this man from father and grandfather. He is Baron Augustine L. Bourne. Okay, great. Stephen's uncle, a family friend and the province's prefect, which means that he is the head judge and thus father's superior. Sir L. Bourne smiles lightly and offers you his hand. And this is supposed to be your younger son Brante, yes? You have your father's eyes, young man. Father bows slightly to grandfather and Sir Elborn, but there is a moment of quiet when Stephen's turn comes. Father reaches out to him awkwardly, expecting an embrace. There is a question in Stephen's eyes as he looks at grandfather. The old man shakes his head almost imperceptibly. We noblemen oughtn't put our emotions on public display, Father. Not even after a lengthy separation. Yeah, I guess not. There is no embrace. Indeed, Stephen nods to Father curtly. He responds in kind, his face devoid of emotion. After the greeting, you proceed to the sitting room. Elborn is the first to enter. He kisses mother's hand and Gloria's too, and tussles, blah blah blah. Grandfather acknowledges them with a grim glum nod. Okay. Wow, that's his mother. No, it's not his mother. Is it? Yes, his mother is always dead, so Lydia's not his mother. I remember you were kind to me when I was but a child, and you must be Nathan. You could barely walk when I saw you last. Not even a greeting. Wow, that's really shitty. Gloria's great. Okay, you proceed to the dining room in a dignified manner and take your seats. The dishes smell delicious, but they merely punctuate the overwhelming tension at the table. He's the only one with a friendly smile on his face. The dinner is splendid, Lydia. Did you choose the dishes yourself? You have a truly refined palate. It warms my heart to know Stephen spent his early years with you. Womanly care always does a child good, no matter the estate. Your fork freezes in the air halfway to your mouth. You expect many things from a noble of the sword, but words of praise for a low-born woman are not one of them. You cast a glance at God or grandfather. He looks like he is about to choke on those words. It would do my grandson more good to stay at boarding school among his equals. Please, Gregor. Parenting is no less important. Nothing can replace a mother's love. I cannot deny it. It saddens me greatly that my late sister could not be there to raise Stephen, but there was still a family for him, and he was surrounded by love. How could that be bad? And besides, his father was by his side all the time. A father's example is always the best. After all, Robert earned the judge's rank the same way you did. Your grandson will surely follow in your footsteps, and who knows, perhaps even the younger man of the Brante family will contribute to the... You clumsy, low-born cretin! He is glaring at the young lady servant, holding a pitcher over a glass. Stephen is sitting right next to her, dabbing a napkin on a fresh stain on his jacks. Begone this instant. Leaving the pitcher on the side table by the door. After a quiet moment, Elborn smiles again. It appears the servants have left us, yet dinner is far from over. Worry not, Uncle. There are enough commoners at this table to keep us served with food and drink. Oh my god. She is sitting there right next to you. She shrinks down and hunches under his glaze. Father furrows his brows. Mother covers her mouth with trembling hands. Grandfather sneers. Stephen's gaze does not move. The silence lasts far too long. Then she starts to rise from her chair. If the Brante gentlemen so wish it. Your hands clench into fists under the table. How can he bring himself to humiliate his own family? His own mother and sister like this? It's all grandfather's doing. Stephen could not even bring himself to embrace father without his permission. And yet, they are noblemen, and they have the right to act this way. If there's any way this dinner can become even more unbearable, you do not want to see it. Yes, I'm going to join Gloria. Yeah, Stephen is an asshole. You deliberate for a moment, then take the napkin off your lap and rise to join Gloria. A moment later, you hear the sound of another chair moving. Your mother joins you. The three of you now refill glasses, serve food, and clear away dirty dishes. Sir Elborn tries to make small talk with father, but in vain as he focuses his attention on grandfather and Stephen. Grandfather is pleased to inform him that Stephen is a total piece of crap and he sucks. He constantly stresses the importance of your elder brother for the future of the family. You listen to him dispassionately as you continue serving new dishes to the table. Our labor is impeccable. Grandfather could not have found fault even if he tried. He did try. Your shoulders and back are aching, but being a manservant inside your own house hurts even more. When the guests finally leave, Mother and Gloria embrace you with relief. You did not neglect your relatives and share their humiliation, and the composure that you have shown gave you new strength. Yes. Yes. Good. Willpower. This is how the revolution starts. Hot, dry wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands around it. The noble residents of Anazati prefer to remain in their chambers. While the commoners huddle in tents or in the shade of the silver tree, you are on an errand right now. Your father wrote a letter to the noble acquaintance, and you are to deliver it. Thomas, the boy down the street, is tagging along. The two of you are inseparable now. Good. The errand is an easy one, so you decide to take this opportunity to loiter around the part of Anazati, where the nobles live. So here you are, in the middle of the city square, resting on the ancient brickwork by the old fountain, in the merciful shade of the gargantuan silver tree. Thomas is by your side, lazily slouching on the edge of the fountain's basin. Okay, I just need to take a second and grab some coffee, but I like Thomas. All right. Oh, damn it. Okay. I'm back. I just had to refresh my coffee. Okay, Willow, you can come in. You want to come in? Okay. Here you are. Here's your water. Okay. Oh, she gave me a kiss. Willow's in a good mood, it seems. It's a hard life for commoners like you and me. Either you break your back in the workshop day and night, hoping someone will buy your goods someday, or you become a manservant to some noble. You never get a chance to enjoy your life. Yeah, this is a little too real here. This is our lot. You remind him. We work and endure and suffer, but Thomas waves your words away. Oh, this is your lot. You remind him. We work and endure and suffer. Jesus, that's a shitty thing to say. Willow, do you want to go back out? Okay, I'll see you later. Yeah, I know all that already. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble. Our strength is patience and persistence. See, I saw, but I want to make my fortune no matter what. So, how ain't that living by my lot, I ask you? That was weird. Sorry, I want to take that run again. Okay. So yeah, I say, but I want to make my fortune no matter what. So how ain't that living by my lot, I ask you? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know that already. Mother keeps drilling that stuff into me. We must be humble, our strength is patience and persistence. So yeah, I say, but I want to make my fortune no matter what. So how ain't that living my... the word ain't just like really fucks me up. I don't, it doesn't matter. But the lots, they ain't easy. Let's take you, for example, Brante. Your father's a nobleman, but even if that didn't make you one, just look at your hands. You never had to work as hard as me, but you have the same lot. So we're supposed to suffer the same? Or look at your father. He's a judge. He toils at the prefecture day and night, doing his judging, and he's a noble. I've never seen an Archnean work as hard as he does. You shrug. The Archneans are a different race. The books say they were born to rule over humans. They are never commoners, always nobles of the sword by birth. They founded the empire after subduing all the human kingdoms on the continent. Humans will never be their equals. Archneans are always better, smarter, stronger, and their skin is a noble shade of blue. Oh, well, if their skin is a noble shade of blue, then... I've never seen one myself. Okay, great. So then they're definitely real. Oh, shit. More horses. Okay. Your idle chatter is suddenly interrupted by a rugged-looking guardsman dressed in black and green. He chases you away from the fountain. Common rabble like you have no place here. You hear the clattering of hooves and wheels against the cobblestone and see flags bearing a coat of arms. A sable serpent on the field of vert. It makes you squirm. It is the Archduke's coat of arms. The Mila Kunis dynasty. The carriage door opens and revealing a young lady in a luxurious dress. You cannot look away from her. Those dainty shoulders suggested, but not revealed by the cut of her dress. Her back hair cascading over them. Her stately slim silhouette. Her pouty lips and prim nose. And those eyes, dark like the night sky. The way she moves, fluid, gracefully, and most incredible of all, her skin glows an azure blue. She is a masterpiece. Oh wow, she's an Archnean. Octavia Mila Kunis. Clear the way for me. The Mila Kunis guardsmen work quickly to clear the way to the fountain for the Archnean lady. The searing sun dances on her skin in bizarre patterns. With one elegant moment, she reveals a handkerchief, then leans over the basin and wipes her head and neck with its cool water. Well, I'll be. That's Octavia Mila Kunis, our Archduke's own daughter. The Archnean turns away and proceeds gracefully back to her carriage. You see something slip out of her hand and fall onto the cobblestones right next to you. Her handkerchief! It is right there by her feet. Intricate craftsmanship, expensive worn fabric, delicately decorated the emerald filigree. Your heart skips a beat. Will you dare draw the beautiful Arcadian's attention in order to return her lost possession, or would you rather not attempt to cross the chasm between you and her? That's a tricky one. Stash the trophy. I feel like this is going to get me killed again. Pick it up and sell it on eBay, yeah. This is probably going to get me in trouble. These are always tricky decisions. I don't know. I honestly don't want Brante to have a crush on this Arcanian lady. She's a higher class, and they just like subjugated human race, I guess, and then imposed this like weird lot system. That's bullshit. So I'm not gonna like feed into their narrative by falling in love with this Arcanian woman. It's a passing fancy. So I either want to stash the trophy and sell it, or just give it back to her. I feel like this is just going to get me in trouble unnecessarily, but maybe I'll get lucky. I find no mercy to the nobles. Don't give it back. All right, I'll stash the trophy. I'm going to just try it this time. Octavia finishes her graceful return. Oh, I already feel bad about it. I already wish I'd given it back to her. Damn it. Octavia finishes her graceful return to the carriage. It takes off and the carriage disappears from the square. Then you look at Thomas and show him the handkerchief you're holding. It's time to show him how to start earning that fortune. Oh, I can help. Your eyes single out a traveling peddler in the crowd. When you finally get his attention, you pull this splendid handkerchief from your pocket. Yeah, I'm gonna get beaten. Finders keeper, and the noble who lost it certainly won't be weeping over it. Truth be told, it's a truly exquisite handkerchief. It still looks quite presentable and will fetch a fair price. After some haggling, half the sum... Oh, wow. Okay. You trade it for a small fortune. 4 coins? That was all your handiwork, Brante. You just grin at him. He can find the next handkerchief. Thomas laughs, and you head off to the fruit stall stand. Well... Ooh, I got more willpower. I'm ready for anything. Okay, so that was weird, but cool. Maybe I'll meet her again, and I'll be like, hey, I lost her... Well, she won't care about a handkerchief. She'll just be like, bring me another one. 12 years old now, you overhear an important conversation. It is a spring night, and your mother has just sent everyone to bed. You walk past Father's study and hear voices coming from beyond the door. Grandfather is yelling, and, of course, Father is replying quietly. The elder Brante men are fighting, arguing about the place of the commoners in the city. You sneak outside to avoid Mother's attention and hide next to the open window of the study. Perhaps they'll mention you too. That low-life idiot had the gall to pay me a visit and beg me for some service. He had the insolence to ask me outright. He thought I was going to support his claim for the chairman's seat in the lesser quorum. How dare he? Father, please listen. Mayor Egmont may be lowborn, but he carries a lot of clout in Magra. He owns 5 iron mines. A friend like him could be quite useful, should he become the chairman of the lesser quorum. Wow, this Gregor guy is like... It's just like... He's really just like a broken record. It's everything. It's just lowborn. He's really about these lots. His lot is humility and obedience. The likes of him can never rule anything. They're nothing but a flock of sheep that need a firm, noble hand to guide them. I wasted so many years trying to quash the quorum decree, but the accursed Cornelius Tempest did everything in his power to make the Emperor sign that pathetic screed. And now even lowlifes can wield power. True power? Just the right to discuss the size of the Archduke's tax, nothing more. This is the only beginning. What's next? Oh god, I hate these arguments. Give me a second to drink coffee. This is going to take a while. I'm going to try to do this scene properly. Or this line. But that's only the beginning. What's next? Are you going to arm the lowlifes now? Make them into judges? If the Empire rejects the foundations and the lots, the entire edifice will crumble. Bah! Who am I telling this to? It is already crumbling, and you, my son and heir, are the harbinger of its destruction. Father, I'm begging you, do not wish to marry a 3rd time. Lydia is a good wife and a dutiful mother to my children. If you would only allow her to, I will allow them nothing. Neither Egmont nor that free-loading wench of yours. What will you want me to do next? Live by the laws of the lowborn? I can already see where this is going, and I'd rather run my own sword through my gut than live in a country where nobles and lowlifes share the same rights. My only dream is to see the name of Brante in the Blue Book, but that dream will never come true. They will never call me Venerable El Brante, and it's all because of this marriage of yours. My only hope now is to hear Stephen addressed in such a manner one day. Thank the twins I didn't let you ruin the boy. He's about to grow up a true nobleman. His children will bear the name of El Brante. You have 2 more grandsons. Those spineless milksops from a common lot. They're incapable of anything. The best your middle son can do is sneak into the Imperial College and get ennobled by the mantle. Although I have grave doubts about even that. As for the downtrodden Nathan, I hold out no hope for him whatsoever. Apparently I got into the Imperial College. You hear grandfather's heavy footsteps, the tumbling of his cane and the slamming of the door. It's time to sneak back home before you're discovered. I don't understand. Did I get ennobled by the mantle, or is that... I'm the middle son, right? I guess that's what this is. You started studying at the school of Sir Tiber and began to master the sciences. Interesting. Ooh, this is old school. Finally, the day comes when the teachers stop coming to the house, and before you can breathe a sigh of relief and put away the book, Father's asked you to come to his study. Oh, great. What's this? Okay. Finally, the day comes when the teachers stop coming to the house. But before you create a sigh of relief, put away the books, Father asks you to come to his study. You've grown, my son. It's time for you to continue your education away from home. I've chosen a deserving school for you. Sir Tiber's School for the Children of Noblemen and Well-Off Commoners. That's the name? Wow, okay. Naturally is not a boarding school for nobles, so you will study there during the day and come home in the evening. Okay, great. You share the news with your best friend Thomas. Sir Tiber's School, eh? Yeah, I gotta ask my parents to send me there too as soon as they get the coin together. Father says his workshop has toiled day and night for years to save up for my education. The school is based in an ancient estate of Archnean design. The classrooms are tall and spacious with massive benches. The sounds of scraping quills and lectures on history and imperial law and theology echo under the vaulting ceilings. Excuse me. The rules are strict, the lessons tiring. Restless Thomas keeps getting distracted, and several times he gets his hand slapped with a stick for it. Wow. Every teacher demands flawless mastery of their subject. Every day, Father asks you about your studies. You've already told him twice how Magra joined the Empire and how the nobles' courts of honor is different from the commoners' civil court in the city prefecture. But Father keeps pressuring you to work even harder. When it's time to go to bed, Mother will not let you go to sleep until you recite a newly learned prayer for her. And when it is time to go to school, you promise her every day that you will behave with great humility and steer clear of insolent behavior of any kind. For you still live by the commoner's lot, and that lot is hard work and suffering. Thanks, Mom. Your first month in school draws to a close. The teachers announce that there will be exams at the end of the month to determine the best and worst students in each subject. Father insisted you devote all your spare time to studying law and history. Isn't this a school for sciences? Damn it. When you speak to Mother every day, you start considering theology. You still remember the revelations and divine visions that came to you in your earliest years. You have only one more day until the exam. You've locked yourself away in your room, and it's already getting late. The desk is covered with handwritten notes surrounded by leather-bound books. Just looking at them makes you queasy, but you have to read through all of them again, at least for one of your subjects. There's a nagging thought on your mind. Thomas ended up in big trouble the other day. He got in a fight with several boys who live next street. They heard about your wooden fortress and got outraged by the fortification built by commoners. Oh, okay, great. Should I abandon the books to rescue the friend in need? but then you hear your little brother Nathan knocking at the door. He stands there shyly, not saying a word. He often does that. Great. Standing still and staying speechless until you either speak first or he runs away. But this time he actually says something. Okay. The door is locked. Are you okay, Brante? Is there anything I can do to help? Your head is spinning. This is the last evening before the school exam. If you fail, your family will be very disappointed. You have to refresh your memory on law and theology, either one or the other. But Thomas and your fort are about to be stormed. Why today of all days? You grind your teeth in rage at the thought. Nathan is by the door trying not to bother you. He wants to help you the only way he can, for reasons only known to him. Will you accept his help? This is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I don't know. See, I part of me wants to focus on law and history because I feel like if I impulsively do in the moment what's best for my character, or what I think would be best for my character in the moment, I'm going to end up with like flunking out of school or something like that. Although personally, I think it's kind of silly that, because like if I study one night and then I pass the test, but if I don't study, I don't pass the test. It seems like a little bit unrealistic. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't like studying. I don't like cramming the night before a test. I think it's kind of silly and it doesn't really help me that much. So in my mind, I think it would actually be better for him to not study. But it seems to suggest that like if he doesn't do this, he's going to fail the test. I don't know if he has lack of confidence or he's just properly assessing the situation. I do want to spend a moment with Nathan. You put everything away and accept your brother's offer of help. So I want to help this, but can I spend a moment with Nathan and then go help Thomas? See, I don't know. Go help Thomas. Spend a moment with Nathan. I gotta go help Thomas. You push Nathan out the room. He cannot possibly help you prepare for the exam. And once you are sure nobody's behind the door, you open the window and climb out into the yard and over the fence. Then you run like the wind to your wooden fort where Thomas is in peril. The battle for the fort has already begun. Thomas is concerned. He swings a loose wooden plank, fending off 3 boys at once. This is not a fair fight by any means. Your friend is rugged enough to have a fighting chance against 2 of them, but 3 is too many for him to handle alone. Where have you been, Brante? They're about to smash your fort. Get them. You flank the assailants and slam into them at full speed, channeling the cavalry of the holy warriors. You take them by surprise as you pull one of the aggressors away and knock him out with a punch to the jaw. Thomas cheers you on. You team up and make short work of the remaining foes. Your enemies retreat in shame. Thomas got a black eye and his knuckles are all covered in blood, but he looks unusually pleased with himself. Couldn't have done it without you. Just look at them trying to tell us where to build our fort. Okay, time to fix her up. Okay, so the score on the exam was merely satisfactory, but still well above a failing grade. Your family is not too happy with you, but life goes on and your studies continue. You know you could have worked harder to prove yourself to your teachers, but the wooden fort still stands proud, and that is what matters. Yeah? I wish I'd gotten more ingenuity. That was what I was also looking for. I also think I've died twice, so I don't need to be taught theology. I can do what I want. Yeah, maybe I should have... Maybe there's a way I could have listened to Nathan and have him come with me to help the wooden fort, but I didn't... You know, last time I decided to talk to Nathan beforehand, the thing kind of like... Decisions were made for me, so I went to help Thomas. And remember, I just showed up just in the nick of time. Had I wasted a moment to listen to Nathan, maybe Thomas would have been killed. Because apparently kids die all the time here. Your education continues. As you study imperial law, you come to realize that there is a certain hierarchy even within the noble estate. It seems your father's status is not quite equal to that of one more eminent human or Arcanian gentry. Yeah, well, the Arcanians seem like a higher form of human being. You return home with this new information at your disposal. Father asks you about school after dinner, as he always does. And what is the difference between nobles of the mantle and those of the sword, Brante? The latter status is hereditary, meaning that it is passed down from father to son. After the Arcanians, nobles of the sword are the most eminent humans of the Empire. They own land and estates, they fill offices of the highest ranks, and the names of their bloodlines are preserved within the Great Blue Book. Nobility of the sword can only be granted. Nobility of the sword can only be granted only by the. Okay, that's a little bit. That's just poor writing there. Nobility of the sword can only be granted by the overseer of the province or the emperor himself. And how are such eminent people addressed? With the honorific L before their last name. You respond, Sir Augustine L. Bourne, for example. Your father pats you on the shoulder, clearly pleased. And what about the Arcanians and their status? What have you learned about them? The Arcanians stand above all human gentry. They are born to rule over humans regardless of their titles. No L is required when addressing them. They need no honorifics, for the names of the ancient dynasties are known to all. Father nods somberly. Yes, we can never be their equals. Do whatever an Arcanian tells you, and never define them, ever. And what about grandfather and me? Where do we stand as nobles? That is easy. Father and grandfather are nobles of the mantle. This title cannot be inherited, but it can be earned by a commoner as a reward for great service to the Empire in the Legion or as a civil servant. Father suddenly grows quiet and looks you in the eye intently. Yes, and someday you will earn a noble title too, son. All in due time. Okay, looks like something's going on with me and Thomas. Or Thomas and I. Damn it. Sir Tybalt's school teaches children of all stripes. Nobles of the mantle and low-born parents can send their sons here. And every passing day, the children of noblemen invent new ways to snub and bully the commoners. Most of the time, the bully leading them is Derek, the son of the secretary for the Imperial Chancery and a self-important slob. The son of the nobles never pick on you, however. They know that your father has been ennobled by the mantle. But they do pick on Thomas, I'm guessing? Yeah. Retinue soon choose Thomas as their favorite victim. Time and time again, you ask your friend not to pay them any mind, but again and again, Thomas grows angry and snaps at their self-satisfied mockery. It is early morning. The students are busy, flocking to the classroom for the next lesson. You wave Thomas over when you see him. He waves back at you, and then a bucket full of slop splashes on him. Needless to say, it is the work of Derek. That's a weird name. Derek and his entourage. You hear his familiar creaky laughter. The tailor's son stinks. How dare he sit next to decent folk? Thomas clenches his fists. You're dead. Like a soldier ready to wage war. He attacks them first. This is just what they expected, and they are free to retaliate. He barely makes one movement before 4 pairs of hands grab him at once. Diedrich sneers and kicks your friend in the belly. Gasps for air and starts coughing. You stand between them and the noble's son's cock and eyebrow. Why do you mingle with commoners? He asks. Your father is a noble of the mantle. You ought to be friends with your own kind, your equals, not the dirt beneath your feet. Behind him, 4 boys hold Thomas down as he struggles furiously. The other students are watching you, frozen in fear. Haughtily extends a hand to you. He clearly expects you to shake it. What will you do? I'm not allowed to shake. Deirdre's hand. Okay, well, fine. Turn over the teachers. I know it's kind of like a tattletale thing. You fold your arms across your chest and declare that Diedrich and his followers will pay dearly for their insolence. Their parents may be nobles, but they are not yet nobles themselves. Here at school, we are all equals. Diedrich's entourage is about to swarm you too, but the teacher of the Imperial Law comes to the room just in time. Everybody immediately returns to their seats. Once the lesson is over, you tell the teacher how Diedrich and your friends have been starting fights and picking on people. They are children, yet not nobles themselves, which means they are guilty of defying their lot and encouraging other students to do the same. The law teacher furrows his brow when he hears this. He assembles all the students and admonishes them. Any student caught in defiance of his lot will no longer be welcome at the school. The twins are always watching over all of us, and the school will not suffer the presence of troublemakers who defy their will. Nice. The nobleman's sons reluctantly agree. There is no good reason to risk picking on nobles when the punishment is so high. But he can no longer hurt you or Thomas. The bullying stops. Good. Screw you, dude. I'm not gonna... Your name's stupid. Your name is Derek. Ingenuity +1? Okay, great. "13 years old. Ooh. I've never heard that name before. Your theology teacher tells you about Anazzati. It is more than just the provincial capital, it's also a sacred place blessed by the gods. It is where the twin gods' first disciples spilled their blood, and from the blood grew the sacred silver tree. Its enormous foliage hangs over the city. That's cool. You see its branches in the sky every day, but you never approach the trunk of the tree yourself. Today you will be taking your first trip to the Silver Tree. Your class is visiting a service in the great temple by the tree's very roots. Thanks to your theology teacher, you and the other students will witness the landmark of the twins' advent up close. Everybody's excited. Soon you and the other boys enter the slums surrounding the church district of Anazzati. The roots are pulsating under your feet. They spread underground all throughout the area. Pathetic, cramped hovels and filthy streets surround the trunk of the tree. They are home to paupers, day laborers, and preachers. The people of the district bow humbly to you and point you toward the temple. They seem at peace despite the abject poverty in which they live. All who live directly beneath the tree are filled with its divine grace, your teacher says. People come here to make peace with the world and their fate in it. The class is unusually quiet. Everyone is listening to the rustling of the trees and the underground beating of the roots. The sky above you is obscured by the tree's canopy. You find the temple of the twin gods right next to the tremendous trunk of the tree. It almost seems a part of it. There is a crowd there. Pilgrims dressed in traveling cloths, paupers and beggars, common people of the city, and the occasional well-dressed noble. There are arguments among some people who are gathered in separate small groups. Many people are wandering around, staring upward at the tree's branches. The tree impresses you with its might and calm emanating from it. You are filled with a desire to sit down and think of the world, to learn something about yourself, to touch the silver-white bark and hearken to the whispering leaves. You are distracted enough to fall back from the rest of your classmates. You notice a small path. It should take you right next to the trunk. A tall, red-haired woman walks out of the crowd of pilgrims. She's wearing a warm white robe. She is no longer young, but her face is youthful and covered in freckles. Her hands clutch a book. You've never seen this lady pilgrim before, yet she looks at you almost as if she has recognized a lifelong friend. She beckons to you and says her name, Matilda, a preacher from Asthenia. What she says next shakes you to your very core. It is commendable to see a young man so keen to learn the teachings of the twins, she says. Yet you will never follow the light of the truth within the walls of the temple. Instead, you will find only lies about the lots, the erring words of Prophet Asadius sanctified by the passage of centuries. Yet anyone who sets out to read the accounts of the twins' own lives know that they never so much as mention the lots. The red-haired preacher's words frighten you. They clash with everything you have heard from Mother, everything you have been taught at school. The lots are a lot. You freeze in fear. Should you agree with Matilda, or ask her for more information? Or should you treat her as a madwoman and catch up with your classmates? You suddenly feel a small, warm hand grasp your own. You see a girl next to you. She is just a little older than you, wearing a black dress, threadbare yet almost spotless. Her hair is covered with a handkerchief with only a single golden lock showing. Her brown eyes are burning with rage, her hand pulling you away from the... You stare in confusion at the strange young girl, your cheeks flushed by the sun touch. There is just a bit of color on her cheeks, too. But then she starts speaking to you quietly, quickly. Don't listen to her, she's dangerous. Come to the temple with me. Only there you will see the truth. Oh, fuck, I can't give in to the epiphany. You stand there surrounded by the crowd of praying pilgrims and the sounds of shuffling feet, torn between two people you have never seen before, and each of them expects you to follow her. But all the while you hear the whisperings of the wind in the tree's branches. The branches reach out for you, almost as if the tree wishes to speak to you itself. Can you hear the voice? I'm going to approach the tree. The tree is beautiful. The silver white foliage stretches and spreads towards the sky, held aloft by a trunk so thick it would be a challenge to walk around it. The leaves rustle and whisper peacefully in the wind. The tree, it seems to speak to you. You walk away from the odd-looking preacher and the young acolyte, ignoring them as they call out to you. You walk around the temple and the crowd of people, getting closer to the tree with every step. When you extend a shaking hand and touch the bark, it is unusually warm. You can feel a pulse beneath the roots. The tree is alive. The roots are so gigantic they form large grottos, spaces for air embraced by the roots and the grounds. You squeeze into one of these grottos, into unusually bright and quiet, shielded from the noise of Anazotti. Right now, there is only you and the tree. You sit down, there are leaves rustling all around you. The only noise you hear is the beating pulse of life that flows through the tree, and this pulse beats in time with your own heart. You feel clarity and calmness, free of doubt and frustration. The tree speaks to you, or are they your own thoughts, so strange, unfamiliar, and eye-opening? These thoughts speak of soothing love, of a crystal clear law, and of love and law intertwining to bring the miracle of life to you. You stop slouching, and your frown becomes a light smile. Hours pass like fleeting seconds. You lose track of time until you overhear someone shouting your name. Alas, it is time to leave this grotto. The sun is setting over Anazotti now. The day was quick to pass. Your teacher frowns, ready to scold you. You mumble an explanation and say you are ready to be punished for disobedience. Yet instead, the teacher nods in understanding, prepared for anything. You keep looking back at the tree all the way home. Whatever happened to you today, you find it difficult to put into words. Okay, I just need to get more coffee. I'm back. Okay, so another school day has ended. You're making your way home, still mulling over the things you learned from your teachers. The founding of the empire, the eternal and unshakable rule of a single dynasty. Wow, Jesus. The three estates, each with its own rights. What an odd sort of order the world has, and yet so mysterious. At least it sounds that way when your teachers talk about it. Mother is waiting for you on the porch. She smiles gently when she sees you, and yet her expression still shows great concern. Father left on a trip to several distant Magran towns a few days ago. Since then, Mother has been trying to tell you something, but she seems uncertain. Son, could you put your things away and come pray with me? You join Mother in a prayer to the twins. She prays with fervent sincerity, her head bowed low, reciting the words of obedience to them and their great design in a barely audible whisper. You repeat after her, just as she taught you ever since you were a little boy. When the prayer ends, Mother sighs and turns to you. Brante, my son, you are 13 now. You'll be grown soon. It's time you learned about certain things that are important to our family. Difficult things. It's about your father and me, about our marriage. You gaze curiously into Mother's eyes. I'm sure you've wondered about this before. Your father is a nobleman of the mantle, so how could he marry a commoner with another man's child? You see, Brante, your father, when his first wife Amalia Elborn died, it was a painful blow to him. He lost the will to live, lost all purpose. He felt like his own destiny was cut short that day as well. And then he met me. You know the troubles I had in the past. I went to the prefecture as a petitioner to ask for help, protection, and justice. When I was a young girl, I worked at a small shop and sold crockery and dishes. A nobleman took a liking to me. May his name be forever forgotten. The twins know I was humble and honored his lot. I was humble and honored his lot to rule. But he took me by force. Mother falls silent, summoning the courage to continue. Gloria is that nobleman's daughter, but he was outraged. How could I have the gall to burden him with lowborn progeny? He turned me out on the street with a little baby girl in my arms. Wow, okay. I'm very, very sorry this happened. Mother's voice is shaking now. You take her head tenderly. I had no home, no honor, nowhere to go, no one to help me. When I went to the prefecture, I didn't really think the judges would help me find justice against my former master. But when Sir Robert heard my plea, his eyes met mine, and I believe that at that very moment the twins themselves granted him the gift of their love. Your father told me that there was nothing he could do to make that detestable nobleman marry me. But he would never abandon me and baby Gloria. And if I agreed, he would take me into his home. Tears are running down Mother's cheeks. And I know, my son, I knew how much his honor and reputation would suffer. But caring for me brought him back to life. It's like he experienced another sacrament. He rediscovered his noble purpose, his lot to rule and protect and care for others. But his decision to marry me, he is still paying for that today. Your father had the courage to defy your grandfather, the founder of his bloodline. If only you knew how much he had to endure, my son. If only you knew the despicable rumors we heard about the Brante all over Anazate. Wow, okay. It was only thanks to the efforts of Sir Gregor that the Brante bloodline managed to hang on to what little remained of his reputation. And now the noble families have all but forgotten about the scandal, thanks to twins. She looks at you intently. Do you understand what she is telling you? My son, I'm not telling you this just to share the pain of my past. I have no reason to complain. Even Sir Gregor has accepted me through gritted teeth. But you need to understand the heavy burden our family must bear, including our scandalous marriage and Gloria's foul origin. And Gloria, she can never be a Brante. Even if the elder Brontes agreed, the news would stir up the old scandal in the minds of high society. And if that were to happen, Brante, they would see even your birth as legitimate. Or illegitimate, sorry. Mother sighs heavily. What I told you just now is something you have to know, son. You're about to enter adult life, but my lot, I must be humble. I cannot tell you how to treat your family. But may I ask you a question? Now that you know all this, do you still see Gloria as your sister? Of course. Distance yourself. Wow. Wow. Jesus. Accept Gloria as your sister, of course. Filled with determination, you assure Mother and Gloria that Gloria is and will always be your sister. You want Gloria to be a Brante too. You want her to be part of your family. Who cares what the nobles of Anazzati say? Mother beams with quiet joy when she hears this. Oh, Brante, if only you knew how happy that would make me, to have our family united at last. However, the joy in her face quickly gives way to concern. But I already owe good Sir Robin a debt I can never repay. He's given my daughter so much, a home and education, his care and advice. The Brante bloodline could suffer so much from Gloria's existence. We should all just learn to accept her status as it is. No. Just then you hear Gloria carefully knock on the doors of Mother's chambers. Mother, Brante, I couldn't find you. You happily greet your sister. Yes, she is your sister. No old secrets can ever change that. Mother gives you and Gloria a kiss on the forehead and returns to her prayers. You and your sister walk downstairs. Mother is alone by her bedside, thanking the twins with a quiet prayer for the Brante family they have given her. You hope they can hear her. Ah. You are 13 now. Another theology lesson. Yeah, the whole system needs to be overthrown. That's why I'm going to change it. I'm going to bring revolution to this silly world. Excuse me. Another theology lesson. Today's sermon is about the priests and why the clergy is the only one of the three estates with the right to interpret the lots and guide the other two estates accordingly. Thomas sits next to you, huffing and puffing as he firmly writes down the teacher's every word. But you've heard all this from Mother many times before, so you take the moment to daydream a little. Father promised to take you to the capital once your studies are complete. But the teacher suddenly casts a stern look around the lecture hall and raises his voice at one of your classmates. A boy by the name Brian jumps out of his seat. The teacher asks him to repeat what he had just said. Brian freezes and seems to shrink. He tries to muster a reply, but nothing comes out. The class becomes agitated. Someone is about to get punished. The teacher now looms over Brian. The boy's cheeks are flushed, and his eyes are covered in tears. You all watch the teacher's iron-bound book as he raises it, sharply about to strike. Brian shrieks and raises a hand in front of him. A sudden flash. The teacher screams and buries his face in his arm. Oh, wow. A sudden flash. The teacher screams and buries his face in his arms. His hair is ablaze and his skin is covered in horrible burns. It's magic. Real magic. Just like in the books about the Magra Rebellion. The class freezes in shock. There is a dull thud as the iron-bound book falls to the floor. Brian's hysterical laughter rends the silence. He stands up from his bench, fire in his eyes and sparks in his fingertips. There are screams now. Students run for the door. The teacher tries to extinguish his burning hair. Wow. This took a turn. This escalated so quickly. Brian snaps his fingers. The books of Asadius on the desk turn into pillars of flame. He laughs and raises his arms. The curtains catch fire. The screams now grow louder as the fire howls. Brian's face is tense and violent. His mouth is spewing flames. Okay, Jesus. His whole body is shaking with laughter. He steps towards the door. You and Thomas glance at each other. He's gonna burn the whole school down. Your friend's determination makes you brave. You run behind Brian and knock him off his feet. You both tumble to the floor. Even through his clothes, his body sears your flesh. Howls but stays put, then knocks Brian senseless with several fierce blows to the head. There are servants fussing around the room. They put out the fire and take away the teacher, his body covered in horrible burns. You and Thomas remain next to Brian, who is lying on the floor silent. Soon 3 men in black cloaks enter the door of the school, each bearing an edict sealed with silver, the Inquisition. You and Thomas are told to step away from the witch. They lock Brian's neck in a silver collar and take him away. One of the Inquisitors remains behind to tell the students what happened. That was magic, he explains. The ungodly power that twists the minds of men into savage instruments of murder. Only the sacred shackles of silver can hold it at bay. Only the power of the twins can save us from this from his evil grasp. The next day, you are forbidden from ever mentioning Brian's name again. He is no more. I didn't really get a choice on that one, but I guess Thomas and I are good buddies, so now we're even gooder buddies. Yeah, this is a mess. A great day looms ahead. 100 years ago, Uther Tempest was anointed to rule over the Empire. Blessed by the twins themselves, the Empire's reign continues into its 2nd century. Oh, cool. School's up for 2 weeks because of that. On one of these evenings, Father tells everyone that Grandfather is going to bring Stephen back for the holiday. They say families should celebrate the day of anointment together. You could benefit from your elder brother's company. With his noble education, Stephen might be able to teach you how noblemen are supposed to act. Oh, good. I can't wait. He now handles himself differently. When it comes to ordering servants around and ignoring Gloria, he's still Grandfather's double. But he is more grown up now, and less haughty to you. It is a dark winter evening. A damp, cold wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands of Magra. You and Stephen are sitting in the library. He is telling you about Eternia, the capital of the Empire. So that's the capital of the Empire. Neat. Okay. It is full of so many wonders. The Imperial Palace, the enormous Temple of the Twins, the Military Academy, the Imperial College. You have read so much about these places, yet you have not seen them firsthand. Enters the library, he looks concerned. I can't find Gloria. I looked everywhere. She's not in the attic, not in the sitting room, not in the kitchen. I heard she wanted to sneak off to the ruins of Char Milakunis' palace. She could be lost in there. You and Stephen exchange looks. Char Milakunis, the rebellious duke, the ruins of his palace are a dangerous place. Some children claim his tainted magic still lingers there. Which means you absolutely have to make your way there and back again to prove you are not afraid of the long-dead witch. Your brother tells you to wait. He leaves and soon returns with a sword in his sheath. Get ready, Brante. We're going to rescue Gloria. She must have gone to the ruins in search of inspiration for another one of her little rhymes. The two of you instruct Nathan to tell your parents you've gone for a walk in the square. You and your elder brother head outside. You're confused by Stephen's actions. He refuses to treat Gloria like a human being, so why is he so determined to rescue her? Stephen notices your expression. Are you wondering why I care about Gloria all of a sudden? I can't act in any other way, can I? The law of honor compels me to protect my family. Gloria will never be a Brante. We'll see about that. But Father still took her into our house. I must respect his seniority and defend Gloria like she is one of our own. You are a Brante too, noble or not, which means it is your duty to aid me. The ruin of Char Milakunis palace spanned an entire district. The palace was abandoned centuries ago, and its remnants are overgrown with thick underbrush. The ruined palace is empty. Nothing but cold wind blowing over crumbling brickwork. Even the worst scum of the land steer clear of this place. You make your way through the ruins until you spot scattered sheets of paper covered in writing. Your sister's writing. You hear loud laughter coming from behind a dilapidated stone wall nearby. You pull yourself up to peer over it. Gloria is lying on the ground, face down, twitching and sobbing. A gaggle of drunk young thugs surround her, cackling and swinging their arms about. You hear the shouts, "Look at the lass," sitting here rhyming words together. She thinks she's all noble, but don't you worry, you low-bone tart. We're going to teach you your place. Get away from me this instant, you bastards, or I'll spill your guts. They respond with mocking laughter. Stephen draws his sword. The street thugs recoil in fear, but they soon notice that he is only one-armed man against them. They start reaching out for sticks and stones. Stand by my side. Don't let them flank me. Charge the attackers. He is outnumbered. For a moment, you hesitate. Perhaps it might be better to run for the nearby district and call for the guards. The young thugs are already armed with makeshift weapons. They start approaching. Yes, let's do that. Stephen's firm voice fills you with confidence. You follow your noble brother's orders. It takes a moment to grab a stick, and then you are at Stephen's back, angrily swinging at the louts as they try to bring him down. One of the louts lunges at your brother with a stone, but you hit him with a stick, and he falls down right next to Stephen's feet. His sword flashes, the blade sinks deep into the young man's stomach. Jesus, he just murdered somebody. Blood starts pouring into the ground. The thug's free. Stephen pulls his sword out, his face an inscrutable mask, and returns to the fighting stance. You were stunned to see Stephen take another man's life so easily and effortlessly. Like picking his own teeth. The thugs look like they're about to flee. There is a rage and confusion on their faces. They never expected the young Nolan to use that sword. Stephen scoffs at them. Lowborn scum. That's all you are. This is the only language you understand. Good job, brother. Gloria, get up. We're going home. He turns to glance at your sister, giving the arranged thugs just enough time to rush you. You get separated from Stephen. Your back is against the wall now. They hit you hard in the stomach. I'm gonna die again, aren't I? Then the face, then the side of the head. Then your mind slips away. When the darkness disperses, you find yourself lying in your bed. Stephen is in an armchair next to you reading a book. He is alive. His left arm in a sling and a black eye, but still alive. Your head is spinning and you feel nauseous. You try your best to sit up. Stephen looks up from the book. Don't try to get up. You lost a lot of blood. I suppose that's a way... Suppose that was a few thugs too many for a single warrior. Even the good back up. I'm impressed. We fought like an army. Noble orders. The commoner obeys. Fuck you, Stephen. We defended the family's honor together. You know, brother, the nobleman's lot is also a great burden that if you were able to bear. Yeah, screw it. Screw you. It takes courage. Not to fight everything you see, but to do your duty. Each and every decision a nobleman makes becomes a part of his family's legacy. You're flowing in the blood tied forever. I think about it often. A noble mustn't act weak. A noble mustn't suffer like people of the Lowborn blood. A noble must rule over them wisely. A noble must ensure that they have work to do. It's not merely your own lot you have to look after. You have to ensure that 1,000 others can live by their lots as well. And there are so many other matters to take care of. Honor, dignity, tradition. It's tough, but it's what it takes to be a nobleman. Do you understand what I'm talking about? There is approval in your brother's eyes for the first time in a long while. It was a pleasure to fight side by side, brother. Well, you got some honor, I guess. How is Gloria? I guess that's fine. I guess we didn't find out how Gloria is. I'm pretty smart, pretty noble. I don't have much spirituality. Died twice. Okay, let's go back to the scene. Trail of the Assailants. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of lowborn thugs assaulted Stephen Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brash young men are found. Some of them are taken in custody as soon as lesser death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favorite grandson. Prefect Elborn, a friend of your family, promises to personally oversee the trial and ensure that justice is served. Steve and Grandfather decide to stay in Anazati until the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. Okay, wow. They can just, like, bring true death to people? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean they just kill them until they've died 4 times? The system is so stupid. Okay. You ask father to explain something. How can a legal court sentence criminals to true death? I guess that's basically what I asked. How can the worldly judgment overrule the twins' law? Your words are true, my son. Their law is second to none. Yet the twin gods also made the empire and all its ways. The court of law exists to execute the laws of heaven here in the world. Should the court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above all will always enforce it, and so every execution brings true death. The commoners who assaulted Stephen, a born nobleman, have committed a grave offense. There is no doubt about that. And yet, according to the Emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. This means that all of us will have to appear at the trial and testify before the court. Evening comes, Gloria visits her room. She looks crestfallen, and her fingers keep reaching for her long hair. You put away your school books and ask what is bothering her. The trial is tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too as an eyewitness. After all, this whole mess started because of me. But Sir Robert isn't going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? It says it would ruin the case. Why am I always in the way? No one ever mentions me. No one has to listen to me. It's like I don't even exist. And I thought Stephen standing up for me finally meant something. Maybe I will become part of the family, but no. Everything's back to usual now. You do your best to comfort her. Father just needs to keep the family out of trouble. If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, why did he take me into the house at all? Gloria runs away, you return to your books, and you can't help but get lost in thought. What if they told the court you weren't there either? How would you feel then? There is a knock at the door. It is father. He closes the door behind him and sits next to you. Okay. This is a good scene. Son, you'll be testifying tomorrow before the court. Sorry, you'll be testifying... Okay, let me take another round of this. Okay. Son, you'll be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I'm about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruins at all. You went there with your brother to inspect this historic site. The lower men insulted Stephen first and then attacked him. Stephen had managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the guards intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If we mention her very existence in the court, the reputation of the family will suffer. Your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We are counting on you. You recall the night of the fight, like it was a moment ago. Gloria sprawled under her to the feet of those cackling thugs. Her poetry, her greatest treasure, scattered on the ground. She thinks she's all noble. Those were the words they spat down at her. But doesn't grandfather mean the same thing when he denies that she's part of the family? But if you do what father tells you... Damn it. What do I need from this? Fuck. Fuck. If my relations with my father were better, I could convince him. But if you do what father tells you, the trial will end quickly. These commoners will face true death for assaulting a noble. If you mention Gloria, things will get complicated and you cannot predict how the trial will end. Which is more important to you? What is right or what is just? This is a tough one too. Like I like my character's father. Sorry, where's the family? Yeah, I like Robert Brante. He's interesting, but he seems like a good guy, but I'm not gonna lie to father. You're not in agreement. You will follow the family's plan for the trial to the letter. A faint smile appears on father's fatigued face. Thank you, son. This is an important case for our family. And for me as well. I appreciate your support. Oh, you do you. Which You watch Father leave the room and consider your options. When should you mention Gloria during the testimony? There is no way you will pretend she was not there. That would not be fair in the slightest. The day comes. The trial takes place in the lesser hall of the city prefecture. Sir L. Bourne himself presides as a judge. Oh, I like him. He seemed like a nice guy. Maybe he's like a reasonable person. You're seated next to Father and Stephen. You are to testify to the court, one after another. Your brother's testimony follows Father's plan to the letter. The young commoners insulted you as you were both walking by the ruins. Then they assaulted you. Stephen defended you. You are next to speak. You tell the court the truth about the night. How the thugs humiliated Gloria, how Stephen and you came to her help, and how Stephen defended her half-sister. There are confused whispers in the hall. I basically just made a liar of my bigger brother. The commoners on trial cry out. It's the truth. Gloria was reciting poetry, and they simply told her she was defying her lot. The situation has changed. By this account, Stephen was not acting in defense of himself or another. He merely assaulted them first in order to retaliate against those who insulted his half-sister. Grandfather's face turns red. Yeah, fuck you, grandfather. Yet he remains silent. All emotions disappear from Father's face. Your brother turns to look at you, disappointed. Sir Elborn rises to deliver his sentence. There's a bitter regret in his voice as he speaks. With this new evidence in mind, the court of Anazzati finds you not guilty of assaulting Stephen Brante and no one. However, you are found guilty of disgraceful conduct and injury to a noble. Wow. Jesus Christ. All 4 defendants are sentenced to 20 lashes each. The carriage is silent. Yeah, it would be pretty awkward. The carriage is silent as your family drives home. Father asks you to go to the sitting room. You need to talk, alone. The tone of his voice does not bode well for you. The sitting room door slams shut behind you. You have absolutely no idea of what you've done. Why did you have to be so foolish and stubborn? Why? Explain it to me. Father is furious. You try to explain yourself. You only wanted them to treat your sister fairly. Father's face turns red, just like grandfather's did. Treated fairly, he says. His sister, he says. Get out of my sight this instant, both of you. You're in for a world of punishment, young man. You and your sister. You are nothing but a disappointment to me. Be gone. Wow. Are flogged together, brutally enough to ensure you learn your lesson. Once the ordeal ends, your sister thanks you through tears. At least you tried to stand up for her. Your back will not hurt less for that, but at least you feel better now. Well. When Gloria comes back home the day after, there's a fresh bruise on her cheek. Her dress is covered and her hair is disheveled. You ask her about it, but she does her best to pretend nothing is wrong. When you ask about the bruise, she says she just fell. Ooh. Well, my dad is unhappy. I got lashings, so did my sister. I'm pretty sure something bad happened to my sister. Oh, he really doesn't like me. Oh, he's hostile. Ingenuity, +1, good. At least I got higher ingenuity. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. The poets. Today, you and Thomas are to explore the streets of Castle District. You delve deep into the district, right to the old siege walls of Anazzati. The city needs these walls no longer. There are no more enemies left to the Empire to fight, since the twins descended and chose the Tempest dynasty to rule the Empire. It has spread one sea to sea, bringing its rule in peace for many generations. Great. Yeah, it seems like they're doing a great job. The two of you gaze in awe at the old charcoal black marks on the former fortress walls. They say magic wielders during Charmy Lacunas' rebellion could conjure gusts of fire with their own hands. The rebellious Duke fought against the Emperor and the Church of the Twin Gods in the days of yore, but nothing remains of his rebellion now save for scorched ruins and parched land throughout Magra. You and your friend study the old walls and daydream about the battles that took place here during the rebellion. But then you hear a muffled voice coming from somewhere below the ground. You look around and find a hole in the brickwork where the sounds are coming from. Naturally, you take a peek. You see a half-ruined hall built below the ground and a handful of young men and women standing there in the dark. They look at a little bit older than you and are wearing a plain shirts and dresses. A young man is standing on a piece of crumbled wall, reciting some of his poetry. It tells a story of a nobleman who fell into a puddle thanks to his gaudy cloak, and none of his noble bearing was of any help. He ends in a farcical bow. You hear applause and laughter. He gets down from the crumbled wall, and a young girl takes his place. You cannot see her face in the darkness, but hers is a voice you could recognize anywhere. It is Gloria. Your sister begins to recite a poem she has written. Nay, Gloria, yours is no proper life. You are to be a mother and a wife. Accept the kitchen apron for a gag. And lo, another voice now takes a crack. You're straying from your lot. You've got some nerve. Eyes down and be obedient and serve. Your husband, children, house, they are absolute. Nay, Gloria, you are but rotten fruit. You lean down to hear better, but sand and stones fall from under your feet and into the underground hall. Gloria looks up and meets your gaze. Thomas pulls away from the hole. So they're reading poems. Imagine that. They sure hate nobles, and even Gloria. I never thought your sister could do that, but they're sure going to get in trouble if they get spotted by an adult. Bad-mouthing a noble will get you flogged into next week. And not to mention all the trouble you get into for writing poems if you're a commoner. You better tell your sister to lay off. You better stay away from them too. You nod. Being around these people puts Gloria in great danger, but you know your sister. It's not easy to tell her this. During dinner, Gloria will not look at you. Her hair is all disheveled. Is she afraid or is she ashamed? You're also worried sick. These literary gatherings may spell danger for your sister. But for an illegitimate child like her, there are so few ways to forge her own path. Dinner is over. Soon you and Gloria are alone at the table. What are you going to tell her? Gloria finally looks at you. You wink at your sister and promise to keep her secret. You praise the poetry you're able to overhear and confess that you were impressed. A big joyous smile appears on her face. I'm so happy, brother. I thought you were going to tell me to stop going there and say that mother always says about the lot, but I'm glad you're not like that. Me and my friends, without our poetry, we don't have anything else left. Nothing but our abysmal daily lives. At least we can laugh about it in this way. You get serious and tell her that her friends need to work much harder to hide their meetings. After all, this secret passion can end badly for them if they get caught. The best way out of this is to meet in a new place every time. You list off several abandoned places nearby where nobody will look for them. You promise that if she never comes close to danger, you will be there to protect her. Wait. You promise that if she ever comes close to danger, you'll be there to protect her. Enterprising. Excellent. Higher ingenuity? Good. Okay, good. I'm on good terms with Gloria. This is really tough. What is really tough? This game, or just like knowing about how hard your sister's life is? Agony. Stephen leaves soon after the trial alone. Grandfather does not go with him. For the first time in a long while, he lingers in the house for more than a fortnight. Father says Sir Gregor is ill and needs rest. Several months go by and it becomes clear that grandfather will not recover. Okay, thank God. Eldest Brante is mostly bedridden now, and on some days he has trouble recognizing people. When he means to address you or Nathan, he calls you Robert, your father's name. But when he does get out of bed, the house grows empty. The servants hide, mother locks herself in her chambers, you and Nathan run outside or hide quietly in your rooms. If grandfather sees anyone in the hallway, he begins lamenting. Oh, nobody heeds the lots anymore. Any harlot with a child can marry a nobleman these days. Children have no respect. His son betrayed him and let him down. And oh, how the family has lost its honor. Again and again, Your grandfather knocking at Mother's door, screaming that it is all her fault. He blames her for ruining his chances to find bliss in the hereafter. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. Yeah. I decided to lie and protect her. I know it's probably dangerous, but like, you know, she can make her own choices about her life, and I'm gonna be there to support her choices and try to help her, I guess. I mean, she's in a tough place, but her and I are gonna start the revolution. He blames her for dooming him to suffer at the foot of the pillar. You overhear your parents talking one night. Mother begs father to move Sir Gregor to his old home and spare his children his decline. Fuses are outright, yeah. It is late at night. The hot, dry winds are coming. The house is empty save for you, Nathan, Gloria, mother, grandfather in his bed. Father's left for the capital business. So it's not really empty because there's like 5 people here, but okay, whatever. You are engrossed in the history of the Empire, snapping out of your reverie only when the clock strikes midnight. You blow out the candle and get ready for bed. You hear the shuffling of heavy feet outside the door. You see the light in the hallway. Grandfather, what could he want in the middle of the night? You peek into the hallway once he is past, sways as he heads for the door to your mother's chamber. You open the door and walks in. You hear him saying something quietly. Your unease is stronger than you fear now. You sneak closer to hear his words. You foul commoner. I have to cleanse my sins. I have to save my soul. You are my greatest sin. You and what you have done to Robert and his family. Wow, he's going crazy. I should have put a stop to this marriage. I should have stopped Merritt from tainting this house by your presence. Why, oh why didn't I do it? Please, Sir Brante, I beg of you. Silence. You will do my bidding. Fire will cleanse all over. Wow, Jesus. Fire and flame. Fire and flame will free Robert from his disgrace. This is for my son's sake. For my son's sake, for my sake, I need to eradicate this little-born filth. The twins, they're calling for me now. I can feel it. I can feel it. Mother begins to cry. You run into the room, unable to stay out of this any longer. Grandfather's gaunt figure looms over the mother's bed. A bit of oil lamp in his hand. Is sprawled out on the bed, crying. Okay, well, it looks like please. Let me just warn the children, I beg you. Your steps are loud enough to be heard. Turns to look at you. Stay out of this, Brante. Be useful for once. Worldly matters concern me no longer. I see only my sins now, and a sinner I am. A sinner. The twins, they forgive no one. They will judge me by the pillar. I must do something. I don't want to suffer for all eternity. Go away. Mother is crying. Grandfather is still looming over the bed. Driven to madness, his hand shakes as it clutches the oil lamp. His eyes shine in the dark. Wow, you can choose to let it all happen. His eyes shine in the dark. He truly believes this has to be done. You are suddenly torn. What if he is right? What if the only way for his soul to find salvation? There is no going back. You have to move and act. Jesus, Stop, grandfather. Listen, old man. Your time has come. You look at grandfather defiantly and step towards him. He stares you down with rage and throws the oil lamp on the floor. You manage to catch it, but just barely. Several drops of hot oil hit the rug, not nearly enough to start a fire. The lamp's glass is blistering hot. It burns your hands, but you still hold on to it safely. You lowborn scum, you ruined everything. You're every bit like your mother. You. In rage, she takes a swing and you squeeze your eyes shut. But he does not hit you. Instead, there is a deep exhalation. You peek at him with one eye, just in time to see him collapse. All his strength fading away. His chest is heaving, his face a grimace of contempt. After another exhalation, the contempt is gone. Almost in surprise, he exhales. His eyes grow dim. She's shaking violently. You put the oil lamp gently on the bedside table and call for the servants. They carry the body away. It does not disappear. True death has found him. He will never return. You spend the rest of the night with Mother in the sitting room. She will not let go of your hand. For many, many nights after that, she keeps seeing Grandfather's shadow out of the corner of her eyes. Well, he's dead now, so... Father returns from attorney in the morning after. He's unusually composed as he arranges for the funeral. The house becomes quiet, not the looming, heavy sort of quiet of the past few months, but the calm relief you all feel now that the crazed old man is no more. At least Gregor Brante, the family's patriarch, has departed for the hereafter. Pretty honorable. I lost a little bit of willpower, but okay. Very intelligent. Okay, he's dead. Good. He was kind of the worst, so no. Oh, the night of grandfather's death shook your family to the core. Yet, no matter how it happened, your grandfather Gregor Bronte is dead and will never return. He was a fearful shadow looming over the rest of the family, the Bronte patriarch, exerting his influence on all the lives below him, and all you will remember him forever. Father is the new patriarch of the family now, yet he still cannot bring himself to sit at the head of the table where Sir Gregor used to preside. Stephen locks himself away in grandfather's bedroom every day. He will not talk to anyone. You suck, Stephen. Gloria and Nathan still jump at every second that so much as resembles the knocking of his walking stick. Mother spends all day in prayer at the temple, and yet the house has become quiet with his passing. There is one more thing that must be done, the final farewell. It weighs heavily upon your soul. The day comes to pay your final respects. Father goes to the tomb alone, save for Stephen. Why say he goes to the tomb alone if he's going with 3 other people? Anyways. Mother and Gloria stay at home. Only nobles, or those who may become nobles, may join this ritual. Okay. As you walk to the crypt, Father is the one who breaks his silence when you finally reach the door of the family crypt. Your grandfather built this crypt, and now he will be the first Bronte to remain here in body forever. The first ever noble in our family. It is our duty now to hold the sacrament of flowing blood for Sir Gregor. We will honor his legacy and join him as the founder of the noble Bronte dynasty. Stephen perks up with Father's words. His hands still clutch grandfather's sword. Tradition decrees that it must remain in the niche above the owner's sarcophagus. Nathan, on the other hand, looks even more frightened now. Deep in the gloom of the crypt atop a pedestal, you see the sarcophagus holds grandfather's body. Father takes a moment to compose himself before paying his final respects. Gregor Bronte, my father, brought our family's nobility through his unshakable will. He was a judge and a loyal servant to the empire. He lived his life as if he had been born a noble, and he never strayed from that path he had chosen. Yeah, I guess that's the nicest way of putting it. He sought to make the Bronte family ennobled by the sword so that our children's children might be of noble birth. The twins know I have abided by my father's words all my life, even if I could not obey him every time. The father lets off a bitter chuckle as he says this. Stephen glares at Father, then turns to glare at Nathan. Turns to glare at Nathan at you. Okay. After all, the 2 of you were born by Father's shameful decision to marry a commoner. All of you remember this disastrous passing. His disastrous passing. He did not die the true death he deserved. Yet, we all must know that he fought for the future he believed in, to the very end. And he would be proud to see his family bid him farewell with the sacrament of the nobility. Stephen still glares at Father sullenly. His fingers remain clutched around grandfather's sword. Stephen's getting kind of intense there. Nathan barely pays attention to the words. He looks around with unease, his arms folded across his chest. Watch me carefully, my sons. Make a small cut on the palm of your hand and let the blood flow into this duct on the wall of the crypt. It will join your grandfather's blood here and flow forever. Then ancestor and progeny will become as one. We shall enter the family's blood tide and receive grandfather's final blessing, for his blood flows first in the blood tide. He will respond to you. You are part of him, and he's part of you. With a quick motion, Father slices his hand and holds the bleeding cut above a small opening in the wall. Then he hands the dagger to Stephen. Stephen cuts his hand without hesitation and does as his father did. You receive the dagger next. Palm of your hand. If you participate in this ritual, you will enter the Brante blood tide. You, a lowborn commoner, try to escape. If I was more noble. Okay. Yep, give the dagger back. It's my only choice. Stephen, help me close the lid of the sarcophagus, and remember to ask the grandfather for his blessing. And as for you two, it seems you weren't ready to walk the nobleman's path after all. You're right, son. Your grandfather would never have allowed it. The lid of the sarcophagus falls into place without a heavy, resonant thud. Then suddenly you all freeze as each of you hears your late grandfather speak to you. His voice is loud as it rings in the depths of the crypt, and yet he speaks to each of you separately. Foul-blooded weakling, I knew you never had it in you to rise above your meager birth, Brante. You had not a drop of nobility in you, and your pathetic little brother is the same. You were a taint upon the flesh and blood. Be gone from my crypt. You did the right thing. If it weren't for you, I'd have done what Father told us. Grandfather said I should stay away from his legacy. Said it'll do me no good if I try to follow in his footsteps. How's that for word guidance, eh? Words of guidance, eh? Nathan sighs as he embraces you. Wow, I didn't really get a choice, but my father hates me more. Nathan likes me more willpower, great. His words relayed from the hereafter keep echoing in your mind. You still do your best to avoid the memory of grandfather's last night and spend more time on the city streets with Thomas and your other classmates. The road by the house reminds you of another clash with death. Sometimes, as you walk along that road, you recall Sophia, the beautiful girl with the wonderful eyes and the terrifying, thundering hooves. You have not seen Sophia since that fateful day. The children who live nearby say her parents sent her to a rich Arcanian family, the Audens, as a servant. The sun is set, the pillar shines palely in the dark sky. Thomas is ill, so you decide to visit him and tell him the latest news. The streets seem oddly agitated tonight, full of horses, cloaked men, strange faces, and hushed voices. A young nobleman in a heavily embroidered cloak is walking back and forth, clutching his sword nervously. There is a grimace of rage on his delicate blue face. He is an Arcanian. You overhear voices. Sir Auden, the girl is not at home. We searched the house. Her parents Jesus Christ. Her parents swear she ran away from home too. They claim they wanted to bring her back. Dorius Auden. Just do whatever it takes. Turn this loathsome district upside down if you must, and bring my servant back to me. She's here. Sophia ran away from an Arcanian. How can this be? There is only one place on the entire street where a person can hide. The abandoned Moral House, 4 houses away from yours. The lopsided house, built of yellow brick, has been abandoned for 20 years or so. You remember playing there as a boy. You glimpse a figure inside even before you enter. A pair of eyes glimmer in the dark. You would recognize them even after another 4 years. Sophia has grown up. She is almost an adult now, and her face is full of fear. She is not the easygoing girl next door that you remember. She finally recognizes you. Oh, it's you, Brante. Be quiet. They're all looking for me. I ran away from the youngest Auden. I might be in for a lesser death here, but I'd rather die than spend another day in their slavery. I'm just a thing to them, just a toy to play with. Sophia winces and closes her mouth as she says this. There's a glint of bright yellow deep in her eyes. I ran to my parents. I told them all about the men I had to serve, and they went and alerted the Audens. They don't want to be the target of their ire, but you aren't going to tip them off, are you? Sophia's voice grows quiet. She runs off to the darkest corner of the house before you can answer. One of Auden's servants is so close that you can hear his cloak swishing around the ground. He noticed something and calls for the others. They approach the house from the yard and surround it. One of them seems particularly snappy, annoyed, and impatient. You have already heard his voice today. And if you're in there, girl, you'd be wise to come out and quit wasting my time. All will be forgiven, and you will go back to where you were. You know it, and if you don't, I'll drag you up by the hair. The hilt of the young Arcanian's sword bashes at the door. He's about to lose his patience for good. Hugs the wall in the dark, trying to stay still. She glances at you. What will you do? Your heart is racing. Can you act against the Arcanian's orders? Do you have the gall to defy the mighty... This is a tricky one. So, helping Sophia flee would probably be a better call. This will just end up me dying, so help Sophia flee. Yeah, we are better off without him. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, good riddance. Yeah, little man sucks. You grab Sophia's hand as you run down the stairs of the old cellar. She resists you at first until she reads your lips. There is a secret way out. You sneak away into the cellar, leading the way. The floorboards groan above your heads as the Arcanian, it's such a weird name for the race, and his men search the house. But only children who grew up in this district know about the cellar. Know that the cellar leads to the neighboring district. Great. You lead Sophia to the hole in the cellar floor and help her squeeze in. There it is. An old tunnel that leads to a well 2 streets away. None of the children know who dug it, yet you played here and chased each other through it so many times as a lad. And now this secret passage will rescue Sophia from genuine pursuit. Soon you are in the well. There is nothing above you to save for the sky full of clouds. You wait until you hear no more steps around you, then climb out of the well and help Sophia up. You lead the way to the slums around the temple district, the easiest place to disappear. Oh wow. A dog in a nearby house starts barking. One of Ottoman's men God damn it. One of Otton's men appears in front of you. You take a step back as your fingers search for a brick, ready to defend Sophia no matter the cost. She squeezes your hand, and then you hear a high-pitched scream of rage. A flash of yellow light stuns you. In the blink of an eye, Otton's men freezes and collapses, unable to get up. Sophia's eyes are no longer blue. They are yellow now. She lets go of your hand. You recoil in fear. You weren't supposed to see that, Brante. Don't worry. I won't hurt you. But I won't let them take me. I won't go back to Otten after this. I need to run. Run as far as my legs can take me. Thank you for helping me, and farewell. Yes. Disappears down the dark alleyway. You stand there, stunned. Sophia is a witch? Her magic bound Ottoman's man's by the arms and legs, and it made him unable to move. You hear Otten's screams of rage and the thumping of his men's feet, but Sophia is long gone. It's a shame that was all you could do for her. The runaway girl becomes the talk of your district for an entire week. You overhear that Sophia managed to flee the city. The Ottens are furious. After this sudden appearance, she disappears from your life once more. You will not see her again until much, much later. Oh, I met a girl. Oh, I'm 15 years old. Summer, the bloodstained servant. You are about to turn 15, just one step away from adulthood. Mother is acting anxious at dinner today, barely touching her food. You exchange glances with Gloria. She carefully tells you that she wants to go to the tailor. Mother shudders and her hands clench into fists. No. Don't you dare leave home today. I forbid it. That dirty heretic Fotis is preaching his lies under the silver tree today. Twins willing, I don't want you to hear any of that. You and Gloria glance at each other. Fotis, he's a patriarch, the head of clergy throughout the entire province. That is the first time you've heard Mother speak like this about a priest, especially such a high-ranking one. Once you leave the dinner table, Gloria comes to your room with a cunning expression on her face, like she's about to play a trick on somebody. She has a plan. The two of you should sneak out of the house and go to the silver tree. You simply must hear the sermon for yourself. What's so bad about Patriarch Fotis? Why does Mother hate him so much? You two are grown-ups now. Surely you have the right to know. You agree with your sister. Together you sneak out from under your mother's watchful eye and hurry to the silver tree. The temple block is full of people from all ranks and estate. There is barely enough room for you to squeeze through the crowd. The crowd is gathered around the very roots of the tree. Gloria suggests that you climb up to the roof of a nearby building so you can hear and see everything better. And not a moment too soon. From the roof you see a tall, silver-haired priest stepped into the platform by the tree, dressed in a common black robe that looks far beneath his rank. Yet he stands like a noble before the crowd. Behind his back is a banner flapping in the wind. The open book. This is a symbol of the new faith, the crowd whispers. The patriarch holds his hand up to the sky, and the entire temple block grows quiet. He begins his sermon, his vibrant voice rolling across the square. Fotis speaks of a great mistake. Okay, give me a second. I'm just going to use the washroom and grab another drink. All right, I'm back. I should have put a be right back. Oh, god damn it. Okay. Okay, final stretch of adolescence. Here we go. We entrusted ourselves to the lots as the only way to fulfill divine providence in this world. But for all these years, the will of the twins has been interpreted for us by a single man, Prophet Asatius. The twins are ever watching from atop the shining pillar. Of this we have no doubt. But how can we be so blindly... Come on in. Of this we have no doubt. But how can we so blindly believe that we truly follow their will by following the lots? Have we not seen the 3 lots of Asadius fail again and again to answer? Jesus, Willow, you're right in the way. You're ruining the moment. Mm-hmm. Back up. Back up. You're literally right in the way, Willow. Move. Here we go. Have we not seen the 3 lots of Asadius fail again and again to answer the question of how we ought to live our lives? Have we not seen people change their lot in life again and again without being smitten by divine wrath? Every person born, whether human or Archnean, lowborn or noble, must find their lot and their way to the gods on their own. From now on, we will seek the gods in the accounts of their own lives, in their own acts in this world, and their own words as they echo within us. And as we heed the voice of the twins within, we will each find their path for us on our own. The crowd of the silver tree listens to the patriarch's speech in stunned silence. You glance at your sister. Her eyes glisten with tears as she hears Fotis' words. Then suddenly a hoarse cry rises from the crowd. If there are no lots, does that mean the nobles are going to till the fields? The commoners are going to bear arms? The crowd begins to murmur. The patriarch raises his arm and inhales, ready for the answer. Ready to answer. An odd figure leaps from the crowd onto the platform. A dirty beggar dressed in a rag. A knife flashes in his hand. The blade slices. Blood starts pouring from Fotis' throat. Wow, Jesus. He slumps over and collapses. A dark brown puddle spreads across the platform where he stood. Gloria clutches her mouth to suppress a shriek. A few moments of stunned silence, and then the screams begin. People are frantic. The temple guards try to restore order, but to no avail. An old woman dressed in Inquisitor's Cossack robes tries in vain to apply pressure to the patriarch's wound. The nobles draw their swords. Dogs are barking. The crowd is pushing and shoving. Children are crying. The entire square by the trees in chaos. From the roof, you see the moment when people start trampling each other, howling, praying, and shouting. Gloria tugs at your sleeve. Time to go. You climb down from the roof and run. You return home without exchanging a word. Mother has been in her room all the while. No one noticed your absence. Gloria locks herself in her room. You do not discuss the things you have just seen. They are too frightening. But your parents discuss every little detail of the blood-stained sermon over dinner. This is unbelievable. A patriarch murdered in plain sight? The gendarmes and the Archduke's guards have searched every corner of the slums, and the murderous beggar has disappeared without a trace. I can't even imagine a more... Excuse me. An even more gruesome crime. Fotis has died a true death, never to return from the hereafter. But how? Why can't the patriarch be reborn? He's so close to the twins. Such is the way of the world, my child. Once you're granted great power by the twins' will, there's no hope for you to come back, not even after first of your deaths. Emperors, their powerful vassals, heads of great Archnean dynasties, patriarchs of the church, none of them are destined to be reborn. Fotis is gone forever. I fear for his soul. It was lost in doubt. Why, the twins accept him? Will the twins accept him upon the peak of the pillar? We must pray for the patriarch, children. Let us hope he managed to return to the old faith before the moment of his passing. But there's little hope for that. Okay. Orders down. Churches up, I guess. I'm not sure what that's all about, but sure. Tomorrow you turn 16. According to Imperial law, you will be a full adult. Your time at Sir Tiber's school has ended. You have studied enough to apply for Imperial College and learn the judge's trade there. You are to travel You are to travel to Eternia tomorrow. Your friend Thomas will go there with you to try his luck in the Imperial capital. Mother and father prepare you for the long journey. Remember, son, there is only one goal for you. You must become a student at the Imperial College. Your teachers dragged you through all those books for a reason. You have the knowledge and the fervor to be ennobled by the mantle as I was, and as my late father was before me. And who knows? Maybe one day you will be the one to write the name Brante in the Blue Book, and ensure that your children's children will be noble by birth. Then, Mother speaks to you carefully. There's worry in her eyes. But Robert, there may be another path for our son. Stephen, your firstborn, was born a noble. He will surely earn the title for the entire Brante family. Your second son bears the favor of the twins. For him, the calling of the priest is a worthy calling. No less than a nobleman's sword. They have been arguing about your future for a while now. Still, she would never defy the will of a nobleman and her husband. You smile at them both, trying to placate them. Gloria laughs quietly behind their books. Behind their backs. Oh, behind their backs, sorry. Just don't become a snoot like Stephen, and you'll do just fine. Mother chides Gloria for that. You wink at your sister. Nathan has been downcast all evening. He barely touches dinner. When everyone gets up from the table, he suddenly rushes over to embrace you. Please don't go, Brante. Can't you stay? I don't know what I'm going to do without you. You tussle his hair in response. There is no way you can stay now, you say, and when you come home, and you will come home, you'll tell him all your stories and bring him a special present from Eternia. This is it. All your lessons have been learned. All your things have been packed for the road. You will leave the family home tomorrow. Tonight is your last night at home before your departure. You walk through the rooms one last time. The sitting room where Mother used to read your fairy tales, the library where Gloria used to spend all her time, Father's study, which you entered only on special occasions, the backyard where you taught Nathan to build towers one summer. The whole place feels so similar, so familiar, so dear to you. It feels like home. You lived here for 16 years. Will you ever return? It's getting late. Everybody's already in the rooms, but you hesitate. Mother, Father, Gloria, and Nathan. It will be a long time before you see them. Who will you spend your last few hours with? I can't choose Father. No. Go with Gloria. Indeed, your sister is still awake. She jumps out of her armchair happily to meet the moment she sees you. I'm so happy you're actually here, brother. You know, before you leave, I actually have something to tell you. I'll lead you to the library. You light a lamp. Gloria pulls out a hefty volume from one of the shelves. Look, this is the history of the noble houses. It's got the story of how humans were first ennobled. I read all of it, and guess what? It didn't happen until after the expansion of the Empire. Apparently, there weren't enough Arcanians for all the land. They just couldn't rule it all by themselves. Arcanians have always treated humans like cattle, but noble humans are even worse. They're like their paltry copies now. Bearing noble titles, wearing gem-studded jackets, bossing others around, and poisoning their lives. They make me sick. Everybody says nobles were born to rule, but if you ask me, I say they're nobodies. There's nothing noble about demeaning others and living off their hard work. Gloria is growing unusually agitated. You knew she was not exactly fond of nobles, but it's the first time you ever heard her such burning scorn in her voice. And then Gloria stops herself suddenly and calms down. I just want to tell you, brother, you don't actually have to become a noble. If you're a noble, you'll have to follow their rules, like Stephen does. You're not like him. I know it. Don't listen to Mother, and definitely don't listen to your father. They just want you to blindly follow them. It's true, Sir Brante spent plenty of money and effort on your education. But a noble title and a judge's rank were his dream for you, not yours. It's time to think for yourself. Her words spark a dispute. You keep debating into small hours. Soon you both start reaching into history and politics and morals for material, pulling out library books one by one to prove your points. It turns out Gloria is an excellent debater. All the days and nights you spend in the library have honed her mind and rhetorical skills. The sun is about to rise. You should rest before the long trip, but you are not tired at all. But before you return to your room, Gloria locks you in a heartfelt hug. Brante, please promise me you'll find your own way out there. You nod to her and hug her back, and then she is off. You get into bed, but you cannot sleep. Gloria's words keep you up all night. I kind of feel bad that I didn't have time with Nathan, because I feel like I've kind of neglected Nathan a little bit. And, like, I don't know why I have to choose between the two of them. Like, can't be good to both of them, but okay, well, whatever. You leave the family home for a long time. Your future awaits you in Eternia, the capital of the Empire. Eterna. The end of adolescence. Your last night was your final night at home. The carriage is now waiting at the gate, ready to take you to the capital. The clip-clopping of the idle hooves against the cobblestones counts the seconds before your departure. You take one more look at your parents' house and recall your childhood spent there, in the nearby yards, at your school, and on the winding streets of Anisote. Whatever. You clashed with the greater world around you and survived. You felt the tingle of emotion for the first time. You were taught by the schools and the streets. You explored the city of your birth and learned something of its past. You witnessed firsthand events that will be remembered by history for all time. All of this is yours now, forever. Oh, sorry. You saw death, lesser death followed by rebirth, and the true death takes and never gives back. You saw death lying in wait to strike the unaware, like a beast stalking its prey. You saw grandfather's angry grimace like a flickering fire of the lamp, the Archduke's cavalry trampling those who stood in their way, and your older brother's bloodied sword slicing through the air. Death has followed you from a very young age. And yet you live on. You have a friend who's been by your side all these years. Thomas taught you many things. How to take a hit, how to keep your word, and how to remain true to your own self. And now Thomas is walking to the same carriage as you are, with a heavy bag slender over his shoulder. Your friend will remain your companion for the time being. Ahead of you is a long trip towards the capital and adulthood. For this first time, you will be away from your family and home. What awaits you in the future? Okay, so that's it. Okay, so I'm very inventive. I got high ingenuity, not very high nobility, and really low spirituality, which is weird considering I feel like that my experience with the tree was pretty noble, or it was pretty spiritual. Okay, so I figured out Gloria's secret. I don't know what Steven's forbidden love is, which is unfortunate. So basically, I seem like I sided with Gloria, my sister. Damn it. Next time I do this, I'm going to get an epiphany. So that was chapter 3. That was adolescence. I like Gloria too. Yeah. So Brante, occupation, choice of path. My willpower is good. I'm still lowborn. I've died twice. So we have high peace for now. We're pretty wealthy. We have tarnished honor. Nathan is grateful. Gloria is affectionate. That's me. Oh, he actually doesn't hate me. Considering I ruined... My dad really doesn't like me. She's dead, so... And he's dead as well. Okay, relations. So I have Sophia's trust. Thomas is my friend. This guy's indifferent. This guy hates me, but doesn't really know me that well. Indifferent. And Octavia. Oh, that's the lady I stole the. Well, I didn't steal, but. Okay, so power is low. Church is Old Faith. The land's doing pretty well. Patriarch Cassius. Okay, well, it seems like Archduke Mila Kunis sucks, and Cassius seems like a more of the same. Yeah, so that was chapter 2. Next Saturday, I'm gonna plan to do a chapter every Saturday. It's just a lot of talking for me. As you can tell, my voice like goes pretty quick. I would like to do more of this. I kind of want to, like other. There's other. Yeah, let's quit to. There's other streamers I think would actually be really good at streaming this and like talking, like Death's Head. I appreciate you being here, there, Caro. Yeah, I want to see how this turns out though. Although games like this I find they're really good, but as much as they have replayability value, like every time you play it after the first time, it doesn't have the same appeal. You know how it ends. I kind of like going through and just sort of like figuring out how I would react in this situation, or like is how I think. Come on, mute. Okay, great. Yeah, so I guess I'll just raid into somebody. /raid. Let's go see Super Freak. Super Freak 1 is playing Sims 4, which is pretty cool. He's another streamer I really like. Has nothing. It's not like Life and Suffering of Brante at all. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But I hope everybody has a really good day, and I appreciate you all for being here and spending time with me. I'll see you later.